Anthony on Air podcast back once again for another episode where we're talking about Macaulay Culkin's new baby. Sylvester Stallone, BLM, Usher, Matt Gaetz, the QAnon documentary on HBO. I'll do a full review. Janine will do a half review. Frank will listen.
I have not seen it.
And Shameless ended. We'll get a full review from J-Sabs on that. So we'll end review strong. Here's a review for Hero Soap Company. Best soap I've ever had. Link in the description below. Order some up for yourself if you can. It does go and support the podcast. Frank, Macaulay Culkin has a baby.
Baby Macaulay, just the Home Alone jokes write themselves. I'm not even going to go down that well.
Well, Macaulay Culkin and Brenda Song, is that his wife or his girlfriend? I don't know. They had a baby together.
Didn't even know they were. That he was with someone.
I know. The couple secretly welcomed their first child together this month, a son named Dakota Song Culkin, named after Culkin's late sister. His sister died in a car accident.
Dakota, that's a good name.
But it's a beautiful baby boy named Dakota. The couple is said to have left the baby alone in the nursing unit.
See, I started off by saying, did I ruin your whole thing?
No, it's okay.
All right.
It's fine. Where do I know this girl from? Oh, I think she was in The Social Network.
Oh, yeah?
I think so. Wasn't she? Didn't she play one of the girlfriends?
I'm going to say maybe.
Right? That's her?
Okay.
That's unbelievable.
So are they married or are they just boyfriend and girlfriend?
I'm the couple. They keep saying the couple. Is marriage important anymore, Frank? Does it matter? Are we old-fashioned for being married?
Should I not ask questions?
Not to each other, by the way. We both have wives. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
It's fine if that's who you are.
Yeah. Just want to. That's
my father's gay.
My father. That episode stands the test of time, by the way. We were doing Seinfeld references.
Most of them do.
There's a
handful.
Yeah.
There's a handful that's like, but yeah, I could still watch any episode today.
But how much is it a mind F that Macaulay Culkin, who I feel like in our minds is still that adorable 8-year-old kid every Christmas, we just see the 8-year-old kid again, now has a kid of his own.
He's what, 40 something?
Oh, it
40,
hurts.
41.
Every time Macaulay Culkin hits a milestone, I get another ache.
Yeah, my back goes out every time.
Yeah, it's weird how that happens.
Terrible. But c'est la vie. I mean, what was that? 1990? I think Home Alone was.
Have you seen this meme that's circulating around? That's
probably.
It's from now to 1991 is 30 years, which in 1991 it was 30 years to like 1961.
61.
It's the same amount of time. And doesn't that feel to you like time is broken? Like it doesn't I can't compute.
Well, it's because we didn't exist before that, it's hard to think about because we weren't around.
It's so weird though. But I remember, like you remember in the 90s and people would talk about the 60s and you were like, that was a forever lifetime ago.
Who thinks about the 60s? It's like,
yeah. And now
it's weird.
And now this is the same distance of time. And you're like, but that was 5 minutes ago. How does that make any sense?
It's weird. All the stuff our parents were talking about when we were 9 years old, 10 years old.
Yeah.
They were our age. And it was like, they were talking about when they were kids. We were like, that's ancient cares about this so much. To be fair, though, I feel like technology-wise, the distance between this 1961 and 91, I feel like technology took a huge leap there.
Massive.
And then from 91 to now, leap, but steady and not so crazy. Is that fair to say?
Well,
I mean, internet is the big thing.
The internet, yeah, and the internet's changed everything.
I know.
But also, I was going to say the same thing you said, only with like culture. And like if you look at it, like in this, like between the 60s and the 90s, look how much changed culturally. Like music completely changed, rock and roll, and
Well,
then
what I always thought was fascinating is every decade has its own musical signature, its own fashion.
right,
But once you get to 2000,
it doesn't
all that
anymore.
it doesn't.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah, isn't that
2000 to
weird?
2010. What's the music trend for that era?
But think about it.
2010 to now. What's the music? I don't.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. But think about it. We went from the Beatles, actually 61. We went from like Bill Haley and the Comets to the Beatles to Nirvana. And there was a massive evolution. Like in between there is like huge. Whereas like you just said, from 91 to now, I mean, pop took over in 96 and it hasn't let go.
It's just been pop since
it's just
then.
even it rock pop, hip hop pop, like it's all it rap, it's all pop. It's just all kind of pop.
Yeah, I feel like we've hit a wall when it comes to inventing new genres of music. Every decade there was a new genre, and then we just stopped.
Kind of the 90s rock where they started calling it alternative. That was really the last time we kind of invented a genre, like a genre came out.
Yeah, I guess so, because pop music was always pop music, but I guess it just surged ahead in the late 90s.
You always had rap, you always had reggae, you know what I'm saying?
Rap wasn't always, rap was around, came around in what, the 80s?
The 80s. Rap came up in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't always have rap and reggae, but
it came up in that 60 to 90 time period, and then after that that's it. It was done.
Yeah. That 60 to 90, that was like the golden age of music for a lot.
Yeah. And a lot changed. Like, there were times where it was Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and Bob Dylan at the top with their folk stuff, and then it was disco. You know what I'm saying? Like you could, like, it's so,
the BG, yeah, it's completely different. That's the thing. It's so different. And now it's like boy bands are even gone, I guess. Not really. No, they're still around.
They're still around, but it's like every 4 or 5 years between 60 and 90, there was a drastic shift and change. And like you said, from 91 to now, like nothing. It's all basically kind of been just the same.
It's the same. And just the same, the same stuff. You got different bands in there, sure, but the leader has been pop for the last 25 years.
Yeah, completely.
I think we've run out of genres to invent. We need a new instrument, like the synthesizer brought us the 80s music.
Yeah.
Before that, I guess violins were introduced into disco and stuff. That was weird. Who would have thought violins would do that? But and I don't know. It's very strange. We need a new genre. Someone invent a new genre of music, please.
We need new time. Time's
fine. I'll do it.
Broken.
I do everything around.
Invent something.
Well, you keep me coming on this show. You give me time to invent my music.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take up 3 hours of your week. Jesus, that's why music is stalled.
This is the creative hour. So where all my juices are flowing.
The audience has no idea what you do the other 23 hours of the day, and neither do I. I have no idea how you fill your time. It actually angers me sometimes. You could ask my wife. It angers me sometimes how I just want to punch you in the face. How much free time you have, and I don't know what you do with it and how you fill it. I really, truly
work.
don't.
I do things.
Do you though?
The only difference between you and me is kids. You have kids. That's the only.
I know you get. I know you get paid.
Gets by kids.
I know you get paid from a company. I wouldn't necessarily say you work.
It's waste management.
Yeah,
no,
let's. Those guys, by the way, work more than you do, okay?
It's kind of true.
Speaking of work, Sylvester Stallone worked awfully hard his entire life, right? Made all them Rocky movies and such, and Rambos and everything.
Where's this going?
I'd love it if Rambo met Rocky. Can't we work that out at some point? Now that we got digital everything, like, why can't those two coexist in the same universe?
I have a feeling Rambo would kick Rocky's ass in a second.
You think so? No guns, though.
No guns. That's fine. Rambo, you just Does he have his knife?
Wait, are we talking about jungle to jungle combat, or are we talking about in a boxing ring?
Whatever.
Both?
I mean, is Rambo wearing boxing gloves?
Yes.
Oh, then I don't know. But
See?
he could probably snap Rocky's neck in a minute. All you got to do is catch him. Once Rambo catches him, it's over.
Well, he's all tough with the machine gun and the bullets around his chest. You take that all out and get him in boxing gloves. He still is.
Did you see First Blood? Rambo First Blood? No machine. He's just the knife. He created booby traps. He's got the bow and arrow. He's
I know, but
on his own in the woods.
have you seen how many tough guys fold with having to box for 3 minutes straight? Then you get a minute break. Then you're back in for 3 more minutes. It's not.
All right,
you got to be conditioned.
Same thing. If you put, Rocky in the woods with Rambo, what do you want? Whose turf are we on here?
I want to be in I want to be in Rocky's turf. I want to be in a boxing ring.
That seems unfair. Just put him in a parking lot. No gloves, no weapons. Who's winning? It's Rambo, I think.
You love
hand to hand.
You love Rambo.
I just think he's tougher. He could take on like 100 people.
Do you love
Rocky's
Stallone?
One-on-one.
I feel like Stallone doesn't get enough credit for where he's at. When you look at how much because he wrote Rocky, so he created that he doesn't get enough credit for being a writer and a producer. I don't know if he's really directed much. I don't think he really directed.
Not sure.
He might have snuck in a couple here or there. I feel like maybe one of the Rockies he might have, but
maybe Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter. Not that one. What is it? Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Yeah, that was a real 80s timepiece, that one.
It's classic. But he's been in a lot of stuff, and you got to give him credit. The guy has made some classic flicks.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what he's directed because now I'm curious. But you love Stallone. Where do you put Stallone in your in
all-time actors?
Well, yeah, the whole thing.
Good question. He's in the top 10, I'd say, in terms of movies I could watch. He's got a lot of them.
Big time.
He's made a ton. The Rockies, the Rambos. What's the one? Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
It's a great movie.
Okay, I said he may have directed one of the Rockies. He directed like almost all of them.
Okay, well, there you go.
He directed 2, 3, 4, and Rocky Balboa. And he also directed Rambo. No, that can't be right.
I don't. What?
This was Rambo 2008. What did he direct there?
There was a newer Rambo. Yeah, it was just called Rambo.
Was that right? Yeah, right. That's right. He directed that too.
Which wasn't bad.
At a certain point in his career, he thought, why am I giving somebody else director money when I could just take it?
Yeah, I know what I want this movie to be. I'll just direct it.
Yeah. That's kind of brilliant.
Hey, you know what I think one of his best roles, I don't even know if it was him, but do you remember that Brisk commercial?
I was going to say the Brisk Iced Tea commercial.
Hey, get in there, Rock. Hey, that's Brisk, baby.
He has 31 writing credits.
Hey. What is he, 75 or something?
He wrote Rocky 1, 2, and 3. He wrote First Blood, Staying Alive, Rambo First Blood Part 2. That's phenomenal. First Blood.
He wrote
Part
Staying
2.
Alive?
Yeah. Not the song.
The movie with John Travolta.
That's not what the movie was called. That you're thinking of Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, but the sequel to that was called Staying Alive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting. I never knew that. That's a weird one. I didn't know that.
Rocky 4, Cobra, Over the Top. That's a great.
Over the Top.
That's one I haven't
watched
in a while. A movie about arm wrestling. Only Stallone could get that made.
That's classic 80s, baby.
Cliffhanger, Rocky 5, Cliffhanger. Yeah.
There's another great one. John Lithgow.
Rocky Balboa. I tell you what, these last few Rockies have been phenomenal.
The last one I saw, was it Rocky Balboa? And then I saw Creed. I didn't see Creed 2.
Oh, Creed 2 is good.
It was good, huh? Yeah, I want to see, because Dolph Lundgren, the whole...
so good.
Yeah, I got to see that. Rocky 4 was great. That was like one of the best. That's probably the best one.
Yeah. You know why Creed 2 is so good, by the way? Because you get used to Michael B. Jordan in the first one, so by the time you get into the second one, you already kind of love him.
He's established already.
Yeah.
That's good.
Anyway,
So,
Stallone's best friends with Trump now. So how do you feel about him now?
he's best friends with him. I don't know if he's best friends with him.
That look on your face. We're gonna replay
That was
this.
out of nowhere.
You were
That
just
was
like
an out of nowhere sentence.
he like, is he really best friends?
Is he? No.
He's joined Mar-A-Lago.
Okay. No.
He let me see here. He recently purchased a mansion on the north end of Palm Beach. I love playing guessing games with you. How much do you think he paid for a north end of Palm Beach mansion?
Because I'm an expert in Florida real estate, I'm going to say...
By the way, I would have gotten this wrong. I would have gotten this wrong.
20 mil.
A little higher.
27 mil.
$35 million.
That's a lot of money for a house.
That is a lot of money for a house.
I'm picturing the house from Rocky 4.
Rocky 4, he had a lot of money, yeah.
And the robot that sings Happy Birthday to Paulie.
Classic. Is that the same robot that was in
No.
Wall Street?
Oh, I don't know.
Those movies were made around the same time. And it was like, how do we fit a robot in here? It's the future, and we're getting robots.
I wonder where that robot is. And was it a functioning thing? Or was it just some guy in a thing, like, pushing it?
They probably had a guy in a suit, yeah. Or they scotch taped the thing onto like a little remote control car or something like that.
Because who saw that movie and was like, everybody who saw that was like, I need one of those.
Yeah, well, that was it was the same thing with Wall Street. It was just like, they're super rich. Let's put a robot butler. We were obsessed with robot butlers for a little while in this country.
Right, but this robot, I think Paulie was doing a little bit more with it than letting it surf.
Oh, right. Didn't he program the robot to like flirt with him or something?
To sound like a woman. Yeah, I have a feeling that robot. I have a feeling whatever Paulie did to it voided its warranty. That's all I'm gonna say. I
was just gonna say, if Paulie was real life, he would have not survived the Me Too years. Would not have survived.
Oh, it's a robot. Oh, Rocco, it's a robot. What do you want?
I don't even know if it would have ended at the robot, my friend. That's the sad part. That's the sad part.
Busted.
Even he was good though in the latter Rockies.
I agree. He was great.
Yeah.
He was an abusive bastard to his sister in the first couple of Rockies.
But you can't hold that against the actor, you know?
No, that's the character, of course.
Yeah. So $35 million buys a home in Palm Beach, which is interesting though, because we talk about Epstein a lot. You would have thought maybe like him being such a creeper there would have kind of spoiled that area a little bit, but clearly not. Clearly still a hot spot for everybody.
I mean, Palm Beach, what was it, 35?
35 million.
What's going on? What is that?
Wait, do you want to guess how much? So he joined Mar-A-Lago because I guess you have to live there to be a part of Mar-A-Lago?
I'm sure it's like a residential. It's like a country club. Yeah, you got to live in the area to join.
Oh, you would think that just anybody with a ton of money could do it. Anyway, guess how much new members at Mar-A-Lago have to pay? Just like what the joining fee is.
$130,000.
Wow, you are getting better at guessing.
Well, I only got that number from what Stormy Daniels took in.
Oh, was that right? Okay. No, I thought you were going to say in the millions. It's $200,000, $200,000 to join Mar-A-Lago.
And then there's an annual fee.
Yeah, and then you got to pay whatever the annual dues are. I'm sure there's a monthly thing too.
I think you just pay every year for a country club. I think. I'm not sure.
Oh, is that it? Yeah, so he was spotted at Mar-a-Lago posing with guests. He was doing the Rocky pose. You think that gets annoying after a while?
No.
Where they're like, come on. No?
It's the same thing as, you went to Philadelphia. I went to Philadelphia. You got to run up the steps.
Yeah, true.
How do you not do that if you're there?
But I feel like with the actors, like sometimes it could be like when you're Stallone level, like honing in on one movie has got to be annoying.
Maybe, but when it's Rocky, I mean, if it was like if people were coming up to him and going, "Stop, or my mom will shoot,"
Yeah, that would be
that might
really
get
annoying.
annoying after a while. But if you're quoting Rocky to the guy and you're taking pictures like that, I would live that. If I were Rocky, if I played Rocky, I would not stop living that up. I would be at signings. I'd be at whatever it is.
Do you think Rocky gets canceled over this? Do you think he
Probably
loses? I saw a couple of people on Twitter that were upset, but those were Twitter people. They're annoying. Can't stand Twitter people.
not.
Palling around with the big man there.
There it is. Oh well. They're in their 70s. Probably senile. Doesn't know who he's shaking hands with.
No, I thought you were going to give Rocky a pass there for a second.
No, nobody gets a pass.
Yeah, so he was seen there on Saturday. Trump gave remarks to donors at a GOP fundraiser at his club on Saturday. Is that all Trump is doing? Just running fundraisers on Saturday nights at Mar-A-Lago? Is every Saturday night a fundraiser now?
No, for what? Fundraiser for what?
I don't. Well, re-election. His re-election campaign.
In 4 years.
Wait, is that a re-election campaign or an election campain? He's technically not going to get re-elected.
Yeah, he was elected once. So you get re-elected.
Are you re-elected no matter what, or does it have to be consecutive? You have to be in office to be re-elected.
Good question. I think if you were elected to that office once,
you can get re-elected.
I think it's a good question.
I don't know. We should
let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we should ask somebody from Harvard, or just defer to the comments.
Yeah,
now, if there's a Harvard professor in the comments, that would be.
I would be shocked.
That would be the game ender right there.
What are you doing here?
The ex-president's family has also been down in the Sunshine State a lot. Did you know this? Kushner and Ivanka leased a condominium near Miami. Trump Jr., Donald Jr., and Kimberly Guilfoyle, which is a fun name to say, bought a home in Jupiter, Florida. Tiffany Trump is reportedly looking for a Florida home. Florida is Trump country now, feels like.
All right.
Do you think we name it? Do you think we rename it Trumpeta?
Trumpeta. It's stupid, so why not? It's a stupid name, so it fits. But yeah, you asked if I knew any of that. No, I haven't been. I don't keep tabs on ex-President Trump. No. You asked me what I do with my free time. That's not one of the things.
I don't know, and this is not an anti-Trump statement. I don't know if I could join a country club.
Just any country club in general, you mean?
Yeah, my wife just said she would, like, very fast. I swear, I don't know.
Why not?
I just don't know if I could be a part of that.
Well, you'd have to be interested in what they offer. You have to want to play golf all the time, probably. You'd have to want to have parties there.
That's the thing. I don't love golf.
Yeah, so then the country club's probably not for you.
It's fine, but I don't love it.
I'm sure there are other things like pools and...
I do love a pool and a spa. I'm not going to lie. That sounds nice.
I'm sure there are things like parties that they have.
But I feel like, aren't country clubs just another high school? Like, I can't do the status thing where people are like, oh, this is, what kind of Mercedes does he have? I just can't, I can't do that.
Well, I don't think, if you joined a country club,
isn't that annoying?
But if people are like that, you're at the point in your life where you go, who cares? If someone comes up to you, what kind of Mercedes do you drive? I drive a Mercedes Honda. I
wonder if there are fun country clubs, like where it's just like totally like about the
Or it's $50 to join.
Not even that, not even the money, because it could be expensive. It's just as long as the people are cool. I just feel like the more expensive it is, the less interesting the people actually are.
I'm sure there are country clubs that are fun that, cool people join. You don't have to be. There are wealthy people that are cool, just like there are people that are not wealthy that are cool. They come in all shapes and sizes.
Where does Sylvester Stallone sit on your cool, wealthy meter?
1 to 10?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. He definitely went down a peg being friends with Trump.
Just one peg?
At least. I only have 3 pegs. So now he was at a 3, now he's at a 2. No, I mean, I gotta love the guy's movies. You know where he stands politically, and I mean, it's a shame. It's terrible, but what can you do?
It's hard to live in your world, man. You should try mine where you don't care about anything. It's a lot
I
easier.
try not to care, but when you ask me to care, I have to give you an answer that sounds like I care.
Okay.
I don't care, but you're asking me to care. So,
Do you know who Patrice Couleurs is?
I do not. No.
She's this lady right here. For those of you that are watching, that's her right there.
Okay.
She is one of the founders of Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
And there is a story today, actually several stories today, that she's a self-described Marxist. That's where you share everything, right? Marx was one of the...
Communism kind of thing?
Yeah, but I forget what the difference between his
I don't
and
know.
strict communism was. There was one big difference.
Not sure.
Anyway, she recently purchased a $1.4 million home in an exclusive Los Angeles neighborhood, which, according to the Post here, had to point out that the vast majority of the residents were white, or are white, I should say.
So what does that mean?
Hold on. Let me bring in our real estate expert here, J-Sabs, will be joining us on the program. There she is.
Hey.
What up, J-Sabs?
Oh, well, I feel like there's a black cloud over me.
A Black Lives Matter cloud or just a black cloud? Which one?
Just a black
I didn't know because we were talking about Black Lives Matter just as you joined the show.
Oh, I didn't see.
What's with the black cloud?
I don't know. You're gonna laugh at me. This is for the end of the show, but I think ever since watching Shameless last week, I have just been depressed slightly.
Are you a changed person?
I am.
Your DNA has changed because of this show.
And maybe just a tattoo on my head too. Probably that doesn't help, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's gone straight into your brain.
All right. So anyway, Janine, we were talking about the leader of Black Lives Matter just bought a $1.4 million home. I think she actually bought more than that, though.
Where?
Yeah, in
California.
Here's what I can't understand. That doesn't upset me. I know people.
Yeah, I don't get why that
pointed out as
why that means anything.
Yeah.
People have money.
Yeah.
Oh, Frank, I think your mic is going.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
All right. Sorry, bud. We'll get back to Frank in a sec. You there, J-Sabs?
I'm here.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You're still hearing him, aren't you? Sorry. The audience isn't, but you are. All right. I apologize. Anyway, that doesn't bother me. Here's what bothers me about this. The Black Lives Matter movement began as a hashtag.
Right.
That's like everybody's. I want to know how this girl, how did the leadership, if it started with a hashtag, were they just the first ones to, I don't know, trademark it or register it as a non-for-profit?
You know what?
What did they do?
Know. I have no idea. I wonder, they probably did trademark it because that's their company, right? Oh my God. That's like
their thing. Here, this is what Janine is hearing, everybody. Let's go back. Let's open up Frank's thing. I'm sorry, Janine. I don't know why he didn't turn off his mic before he
went to go masturbate. Oh, that's what it sounds like to me.
No, that's disgusting. Yeah, anyway, I wonder how that happened. I mean, if she was the first one to come up with it and then it took off and then she, coined it, okay. But it seems, right. Frank, can you shut off you can't shut it off? Okay. Anyway, this young lady is 37 years old. She recently signed a multi-platform deal with Warner Brothers in October. It's not clear how much she is paid by BLM since their finances, as according to the Post, flow through a, quote, complex web of for-profit and non-for-profit corporate entities.
Really?
Yeah. Now, after that article came out, another article came out that she has several big time real estate holdings and homes. Let's see here.
So she's already rich?
I don't know. Let me see here. She snagged
Because
up.
I'm sure, yeah. Well, I'm sure she's getting, like, people are donating to it. So obviously,
Yeah.
but I don't know, because sometimes people use money for things that they're not supposed to.
True that.
She's the group's co-founder, went on a real estate buying binge, snagging up 4 high-end homes for $3.2 million, according to reports. She also eyed the property in the Bahamas in an ultra-exclusive resort where Justin Timberlake and Tiger Woods both have homes. Luxury apartments and townhouses at the beachfront Albany resort outside Nassau are priced between $5 million and $20 million, according to an agent. So I think maybe why people are upset here is because this is not Marxist behavior, right?
No,
I don't know what
not at all.
Marxist behavior would be. I don't know what the difference between communism and Marxism is.
And also, if you believe in Black Lives Matter, doesn't this burn your like? Doesn't it? I feel like this.
No, what does that have to do with it?
Because like any charity where or non-for-profit organization where the leader is out buying $1 million things, doesn't that burn your ass if you donate to the charity? Like you want that money going to the cause, not their pockets.
No, if the money you're donating goes in their pockets, then yes, that's messed up.
Well, where do you think she's getting this money from?
Well, what is her job? What does she do? I don't know if you talked about that.
Yeah, she runs BLM, but supposedly she just got a deal from Warner Brothers, which I guess her life could be her life could be interesting, but I'm holding back judgment on that because I want to know how we got from #BLM to she is the running BLM now. I need to know where that link.
Right.
Well, it became an organization. I guess someone's got to.
Right, but how?
But how? If she came up with #BLM, okay. But if she was just like, oh, this hashtag is trending, we should make this into a thing. Less credit. I don't know. You get less credit for that.
Yeah, of course. I don't know. To be honest, I don't. First time I've heard this name, so I don't know. I don't know if she started the whole thing or if she just took it over or what.
I mean, either way, it still kind of burns my ass that like you're running an organization. Like here's what upsets me. Everybody gets mad at corporate America, right? Rightfully so, for CEOs making all this crazy amount of money. And here you have an organization that is there to do a lot of things, one of them being equality. And you got the leader just shelling out dough for $1 million homes when, what they're trying. That's not the message. That's one of the messages they're kind of fighting against. One of the many messages.
Right.
Okay, well then look at all the celebrities that run charities and whatever. They're all millionaires and billion,
Yeah, but they're celebrities. That's that's the first thing. They're celebrities. They're not this woman who just decided to start this movement.
It doesn't matter if you're famous or not. You're rich. You have all this money, and you start.
Yeah, but that's what the whole point is. She's not famous or she's not rich.
Well, she's rich, apparently. I mean, unless the money...
Apparently.
If the money came from the charity, of course, that's terrible, and that should be looked at. But if it's her own money, then it shouldn't matter.
But doesn't this give you the feel of like one of those preachers that's like, we're here for the poor, donate for us, the church, and then they're rolling off in Mercedes-Benz and got $1 million home.
Catholic Church.
She's not... What does Black Lives Matter have to do? I mean, it's not about the poor. It
has nothing to do with it, really. It's a charity organization. It could be any charity organization.
Exactly. So
but one of the things that they're fighting for in racial equality is pay equality. And I mean, it's kind of tough when people are out there, suffering, and she's just like, what I need is 4, $1 million homes right now.
Yeah, agreed. It's maybe not the best PR look, but if she made that money, it's her money. It's not like, what's she going to do? Take a pay cut because I run a charity? It's her money. If she made that money, then that's the money she made. She could still support a cause and be wealthy. Doesn't mean she has to all of a sudden give up everything to support the cause.
No, it's true. I mean, and it's her money if she's getting paid, for a job.
If she earned it, it's her money, and it didn't come from the charity, then wonderful. Then and she's still running this organization, then hey, what? I don't see the big deal. I mean, unless it's, which I don't see anybody saying, unless it's coming from nefarious places, then that's
okay.
Not
according to this, she did create the hashtag in 2013.
Oh, she did, yeah.
Okay, so
it's a little bit more credit.
It's her thing.
A little bit more credit for that.
Yeah, there you go. So she created this thing. She's running a charity or whatever. Not even. I don't think it's not a charity. It's a organization.
Right.
And she's wealthy. I mean, that's wealthy people run organizations. That's what it is.
I don't know. I don't know. It definitely. It just feels. There's a little twinkle of preacher in there. You know what I'm saying?
It's not the same thing. Black Lives Matter is not about, it's about African American and people of color.
Yeah, but it's
lives being considered.
It could be anything. It could be X. You know what I'm saying? Like you could fill it like Janine just said. Like you look at the Catholic Church, donate to us. We help the poor. We do this. We do that, and they do. But do you need like these $1 billion? Do we need marble all the way up the whole friggin' church? You know what I'm saying? Like it's a little.
Right.
It's shit like that where you're kind of like, if you really wanted to help the poor out, we could liquidate some of these properties and feed a lot more people.
Yeah. True. But I don't know if Black Lives Matter is about donating money to poor people. Is that what it's not? It's about spreading the message that Black Lives Matter is, as much as everybody else.
It's about activism and
being treated as equals and not being, assumed that you're, a criminal every time you get pulled over, stuff like that.
Right, of course.
That's what it's about.
But also, I mean, the idea that she's a Marxist, that's not helping the cause.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, I know the term, and I know it has something to do with communism, and I know it originated in Russia. But beyond that, I don't know much about Marxism.
Yeah.
Not the Marx Brothers. That's about it.
Not a great look for the young lady, I don't think. This is kind of like when last year when all the Kardashians went down to Turks and Caicos and took pictures for everybody.
That was a weird one.
Also, at the same time, like that was
blame them.
That was a big asshole move that the Kardashians did. At least she didn't like tweet these pictures. Like she just bought it. Like
exactly.
She didn't know she was gonna get outed for that.
Yeah, all of a sudden she's on the cover of whatever, and now it's like, I just bought a house. She didn't tweet it out like, hey, everybody, suck on this.
Yeah, but I think also the thing is like this was a movement born out of such sadness for people who lost their lives. Yep. So to see somebody
buying $1 million houses, it's like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Kind of profit off it.
Isn't that a success story for Black Lives Matter? When people, you don't want to see them be poor.
In this instance, I kind of feel like this is like when Cuomo wrote the book on how he rocked coronavirus before coronavirus was over. You know what I mean? It's like the same thing. It's like, let's accomplish a little bit more, and then you can go ahead and get that, take that victory lap if you'd like.
Yeah, but it's not about. I don't think. I can't. I mean, as three white people here, I can't presume.
Whoa!
To speak on behalf. Man. I'm not going to speak on behalf of Black Lives Matter.
I wish you would. I think you'd be better.
Says the blonde hair, blue-eyed girl.
What I understand it to be, what I take it to be, is
if Black Lives Matter wanted you to speak for them, what would you say?
I'd say
if they requested
it.
He'd first thank Metallica.
Thank Metallica.
First, I'd like to thank Metallica for allowing me to be here. I don't know. You would add Metallica in there.
I'd find a way to thank Metallica.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. That's your favorite.
I would love to be at the meeting where Frank takes over Black Lives Matter. They'd all be like this. Why does he want us all to have lightsabers? I don't get it.
What the fuck is a lightsaber?
Tell me something bad that could come from giving everybody at the table.
I mean,
lightsabers.
Lightsabers are pretty cool. So.
All right. So there's step one.
Pew, 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 pew.
I don't know. Ever since Patrici got fired for buying all those houses, we got stuck with this guy, and all he talks about is the Simpsons. Every example
Simpsons.
is a Simpsons callback.
Oh,
Simpsons
no.
are legendary, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
I just want to know about Usher. That's all I want to know about all these topics.
Yeah, let's talk about Usher.
Alright, what's
the one
up?
I could see exactly.
By the way,
What's up
did
with Usher?
you
Did I
notice?
notice? I was just gonna point it out.
Go ahead. Point
That
away.
you used the $ symbol.
So the story came out earlier today or Sunday. Let me get the right day. Today's the 12th?
Today is the 12th.
Yeah. So Usher goes to a strip club in Vegas and is, making it rain, as people tend to do at strip clubs.
Right.
One of the stripper's friends tweets out a picture. It's a $100 bill with Usher's face on it.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
I did hear the story actually.
So she's like,
Usher bucks.
she's like, what the hell? Usher bucks. Yeah. Which, by the way, 100 Usher bucks is equal to 1 Shroot buck. Just, I
Oh,
always
God,
want to keep
no.
that together.
One what buck?
Shroot bucks.
Shroot.
Oh, Shroot. Yes.
You got to start watching The Office or you can't be on the show anymore.
I know Shroot. You said Troot.
That's what I said.
Like TR.
Huh?
Exactly.
As it turns out, a couple of days ago, he tweeted a bunch of pictures of him and these Ush bucks, as he's calling them. He's got hundreds, 20s, and dollar bills. And he's been, I guess, leaving them all over town in Vegas because
Why?
he's doing a residency there.
And are they good for anything?
No, other than just to promote the fact that,
And scamming strippers?
yeah, well, you know what's so funny about this? So once the story started gaining traction on Twitter, the Sapphire in Las Vegas immediately responded saying that Usher could not have been better. They were so happy to host him. They'll be happy to host, because these strip clubs live and die by the celebrities that stop by, I feel.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Because everybody who gets in town, they go, oh, I want to go to a strip club. I want to go to the one that Usher was at, when they get into town.
Yep.
So that was
They're like, oh, he was there. Must be good.
yeah.
See, I feel like, though, that's going to be a classy strip club. I want to go to the least classy place. I want to go to the hole in the wall. That's
You?
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you? I feel like we've told this story on the air before, but Janine, did Frank and I ever tell you our Tuesday in Vegas strip club story?
Tuesday in Vegas? No, you told me about Canada in the middle of the day.
That was a bad one. That was a rough one too. So Frank and I, years ago, we go to Vegas, right? Group of friends. We all go to Vegas. Frank and I are the only single ones at the time, I think. I can't remember if one guy was single.
Do I know anyone else who went?
Yeah, you did.
Yes.
One guy was
Okay.
definitely taken. So as the single guys, we wanted to just go out, to a regular club, like a nightclub. It was Tuesday though, but we kind of feel like it's Vegas. And by the way, we come from
Every
the
night,
city.
yeah.
Yeah, so you can
Right,
go out
exactly.
in Manhattan on any night, and you can go out till 4 a.m. It's not, it's not that big of a deal. So I remember we got in a cab, and I think we tried to go somewhere that we knew of, and then that didn't work out. So we get in a cab, we say to the cab driver, we want to go to a club, like a regular club. And he's like, what kind of strip club? And we're like, no, we want to just go to a regular Do you remember this, Frank? We went to 4 places, Janine. Every place was a strip club. Every single
Are you
one of
kidding
them.
me?
We would, and we'd get in the car and it would be the same thing. We'd be like, we want to go to a regular club, and the cab would drop us off, and we would get
He's
to
like,
the
yeah,
place.
sure.
We walk in, and it's like a strip club.
Yeah, we should have realized that when there were like no windows and only guys standing in line.
Yeah, one guy took us to one place
XXX.
that technically wasn't a strip club, or it was a strip club and became like an after-hours regular club after a certain. I don't know. He kind of got it right, but that was the closest we came to. It was like everywhere
Yeah,
we
that's
tried.
what she said.
Yeah, we just couldn't get to a regular, we just wanted to have drinks, music, but every cab driver was like,
I think they probably saw 2 guys by themselves like, you know what? We're gonna make this guy's night.
4 guys.
We're gonna take him to 4 guys.
No, but it was just you and I. Remember, nobody
Still.
else was with us that night.
Oh, for that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
no,
probably,
but you know what it
take him to a
was?
strip club.
Do you know what it was? Because I don't know if you remember this, Frank. They would, every one of them gave us a card when we got out.
Oh, that was like a huge thing in Vegas. There were these business cards.
Because
people were like,
Yeah.
they would flick them at you.
well, that. But
like,
do you
what
remember
the
that
hell?
it was in the same thing in the cab? Because as we came to figure out, which is why we couldn't get to a regular club, they all get kickbacks if you bring their card in, because they'd be like, oh, the
Yeah.
first drink is on me or whatever. They tell you $5
Yeah, it's like
off.
a comedy club. Like
Yeah.
you're there because they sent you there.
Yeah, so that's why we couldn't get to a regular friggin' club, because they were getting kickbacks from all the strip clubs and
Yeah,
shit
if you're
like
in
that.
Vegas and you want to get to a regular club, you just walk there.
But Vegas Tuesday, it was kind of dead. I was shocked at how
Oh, I'm surprised at that.
Wednesday too was kind of a dead night. I think we had show tickets on the Wednesday, but still, it was like kind of like people were out drinking and stuff, but it wasn't like when Thursday and Friday came around, all the clubs were full.
Oh yeah,
Packed.
I've
But you
never
figured-
been
Yeah, you figured Vegas every night it would be packed.
every night. Yeah, I would think every night, but I've never been, and I probably lost my chance to go as a single woman. So, is it even worth it for me?
Well, I'll tell you
I
what,
think
if you keep talking like that, you'll have a chance.
Yeah, keep
All
saying
right.
probably. Keep saying probably. I'm sure Guy appreciates that.
So I know a bunch of girls who went years ago, probably 10 years ago, and they had a lot of fun. And
That's the place
I
to
was
have it.
like, oh, I can't go there and do these things that these girls did.
It's a fun place.
I'm dying to go back to Vegas. I'm dying to bring the family to Vegas because I feel like there's a
What are you,
Vegas.
Chevy Chase?
There's a yeah, oh yeah, for sure, for sure. My only
I'm
hope is
sure-
my
I'm
son has as much success there as Rusty did.
I know.
Right?
Oh God.
But there's so much to
Vegas
do
was
there.
fun.
There's like ATV rides and there's a whole Marvel universe thing there. Like there's a lot of stuff to do with kids.
Now it's more family oriented, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm definitely not taking my family. If I go, maybe I'll just take my husband. That's it.
I remember when we went there, we walked, me, you, and the other 2 guys walked the entire strip, and we stopped in every bar along the way and had a Jaeger
really?
bomb at every bar.
Yeah. Do you know what that's
Really?
like?
Oh,
Well, we were
God.
a lot younger and could handle that.
Was it
Now,
hot?
I don't think we
Was
could
it
handle
hot
that.
while you were there?
Dude, it was 9:00 at night. It was still like
100.
96 degrees.
But it was, you know what, though? It was October, so it wasn't so...
It wasn't
It
that
was
bad.
dry.
Yeah.
It wasn't like sweltering.
But we stopped at every bar on the way from the pyramid back to Treasure
God.
Island.
That's a long walk.
We were
See, I do
annihilated.
want to go. I do want to go.
It's fun. It's a good place to go. I mean, the pools.
If
by the
only I
sea-
had a
just the
time
pools
machine.
itself.
Yeah, but you go now. It's not you didn't go in your 20s. It's different. You're gonna be
Yeah,
old.
exactly. Like I said, I'm going to go in my time.
Old
I'm gonna
people go to Vegas.
to my time machine. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be there in line with them eating dinner at 4:00. We're not
No,
Jaeger bomb on the way back, people anymore.
What's wrong with getting a deal on dinner?
Nothing, my
All right.
man. I'm just saying we need to know our lane. Our lane is 4:00 happy hour.
That's fine.
Early bird, I mean.
God.
I'm comfortable in that lane.
Let's hope so. I mean, it's basically over, but I feel like Vegas is a fun trip and now they got the hockey team there and the football team. By the way,
I played golf when I was there. That was great.
you did.
Did you? Oh God, you must have been so hot, Frank.
It was kind of hot, but it wasn't bad. It was like a cloudy day, and it was comfortable.
Oh,
We ate our faces off. Like we didn't
I'm
have
sure
a
you did.
bad
Oh,
meal
my
the
God.
whole time.
We went around my birthday, and we went to this place. It was just called the Steakhouse.
My birthday. This is why I can't stand. This is why I hate when people are like, "Oh, I love Frank so much." We went for my birthday. I'm fucking 10 days apart from you, you prick.
Well, we weren't there for your birthday.
oh. Yeah, so definitely it was
weren't
for
the-
Frank's birthday then.
We were there.
No, we were only there for your birthday.
My birthday happened while we were there. Yours did not. That's
Did
all
it?
I'm saying.
Did it?
Yeah.
I don't
it did.
remember that.
And we went out to dinner, and we went to this place called the Steakhouse, and it was probably the best steak I ever had.
Really?
It was amazing. It was a
Yeah,
T-bone
I
steak,
definitely want to go there for the food
garlic.
now.
Oh, it was amazing.
That was one of the first places that I was at that did they roast the whole garlic clove and just throw it on.
Oh, and then you could spread it on top of the steak like butter.
Yeah, like butter.
Oh.
Like friggin' butter.
You spread it around like Matt Gaetz paying a 17-year-old for a trip.
Oh,
God.
Too soon.
Segue.
But
Hey, you want to see a picture of me playing golf in Vegas
No. Go ahead.
from 20
I
years
have to
ago?
come
Whatever
closer.
the hell it was.
That's what she said.
Oh, yeah, there's the kid right there.
There you go. Look at that.
Wow.
Yep.
Look at that backswing.
That's what she said.
Right.
Is that you or Tiger Woods? I can't tell.
Okay. You see? It's an amazing time.
Matt Gaetz just tweeted, I may be a canceled man in some corners. I may even be a wanted man by the deep state. But I hear the millions of Americans who feel forgotten, canceled, ignored, marginalized, and targeted. I draw confidence knowing that the silent majority is growing louder every day.
Oh, sure. And then, is that before or after he got turned down for a meeting with Trump?
You believe that story? I didn't read it. I just saw the headline and it's glazed over it.
I wasn't there. I mean, other than me being there, I believe, it could be true, it could not be true. But apparently that's the rumor.
I mean, you have got to really have some skeletons in the closet if Trumpy is like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's no thanks.
Kind of
Wanna keep
busy
away
right
from
now.
This guy.
Yeah. can't do it.
What's funny is that he's too busy to meet him now, but not while he was president. He wasn't busy enough while he was president.
Exactly.
Well, supposedly he passed on the pardon. He didn't give him the pardon either. So that's
The blanket pardon,
yeah,
which is a ridiculous thing to ask for.
who knows if that story's true. But that brings me to the next thing, which is the QAnon HBO documentary.
Did you watch it?
Based off of Janine's recommendation, like Gates to a school recess, I could not get enough.
Are you kidding me?
Did you watch the whole thing, Janine? Because he watched the whole thing.
No, I'm on episode 5, I think.
Janine,
5
I
of 6,
watched
right?
all 6 episodes yesterday, like a crack
Are
at
you
it.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, is that why you didn't answer my text? Okay.
Basically.
Oh,
Basically,
ghosted.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Or did QAnon stop your text from going through?
Tell me that it wasn't good.
It was,
and I'm still on it.
So friggin' good. I enjoyed the hell out of this documentary.
Frank, you need to watch it.
I do need to watch it. I agree. I will watch it. 6 hours. I got to carve out 6 hours.
I will say 6 hours was tough. When I saw that they were hour-long episodes, I was like, oh Jesus, I don't know if I could do this.
We watched one a night.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could do that. Yeah, I'm lucky I got through the what's it called? The Zack Snyder Superman movie, Justice League.
Did you watch that?
4 hours. I did watch that.
Oh God, that's 4 hours long.
That's 4 hours. Yeah,
Mhm.
Snyder cut.
What'd you think?
Oh my God, no.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I never saw the original.
Okay.
I saw like the half hour of the original one, but this one, it was 4 hours. It held my attention the whole time. It was action packed. It was a good
Really?
story.
I think I would nod off after 2.5, maybe an hour. No, I don't know. I
You
would
get
maybe
into
I
it.
would like it.
I feel like the first 2.5 hours is good, and
Tough.
then I feel like it just starts to accelerate into like fantastic after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had its flaws here or there, but it was good. It was really good.
Bullet was
All right.
flawless.
What was flawless?
The Snyder Cut, it was flawless.
Oh, you said bullet? I don't get that.
I said Bullet was flawless. All right, so
bull. It was flawless.
Q Into the Storm is the name of the documentary. By the way, this Cullen guy who made it, I thought, how great was he?
I mean, he was good.
He was a really good documentary. I don't know what else he's done, but I was so impressed with him. Everything.
Is
Yeah.
he in the documentary?
Yeah, a little bit. He's in it a little bit. Not too much.
Like,
over
you
the
know
top.
how sometimes documentaries could be boring? Like,
Yeah.
it could get, like that. This one was not boring at all, right? I mean,
Is
if
it
held his
narrated by
attention for 6
Morgan
hours.
Freeman?
It's not narrated by Cullen narrates it. He
Then I
wrote
can't
it,
watch it.
directed it, and shot it. Now, Janine, you didn't see the end, so I don't want to spoil it, but I do
No,
want
it's
to
okay.
talk about a lot of it.
Go ahead.
So the origin of Q, it's really fascinating how it starts. It starts with somebody just anonymously posting on one of these like dark web websites, like 2chan or 4chan, or I forget what the first one. I think he's on 4chan at first. But it's one of these like message boardy sites where you can just post whatever you want, and there's like next to no moderation.
Right.
Actually, he started on Reddit, and that was the problem. He started on Reddit, and they were, I guess, whatever he was saying or whatever, they were like, no, this isn't for us. And they booted him from Reddit.
Because you can't be anonymous on there. That's the problem.
Right. Right.
So they knew who he was on Reddit.
I don't know. They
No.
didn't say.
No, I don't think that they knew who he was. No. I think he just went to 8chan first,
Oh, he
then 4chan.
quietly disappeared from Reddit and then
Yeah.
reappeared on 4chan.
Well, no, I think it was more of a case of like you have to verify yourself after a while. Like if you get to a certain level, and then he didn't do it, so they booted him. And then he goes to 4chan, which is one of these deep webs, dark websites. And then he starts posting on there and gains a little bit of steam, and then he leaves there to go because they didn't have the security or whatever it was, and then he goes to 8chan, which is another website, which this kid starts.
Too many chans.
There's a lot of chans, a lot of chans.
But
and they explain why it's called chan. It basically channel.
The channel.
Yeah. But in Japan, I think where they start, the first kid invented 2chan. That's basically what it was. It was like the second channel.
Okay.
Because they were, I guess, one channel is for audio. The other, I don't know what.
So what happened to the third channel?
I don't know. They kind of just skipped it. But here's what's interesting to me. There's this whole entire movement that is born out of something that nobody knows who it is, what their motive is, and has any sort of ability to confirm anything.
Right.
Of course. Because they just put something out there. Once you get a handful of people to hardcore believe you, then they're just going to spread the word. And it's like, then it's, I heard this, and look what this guy's saying. He's on the inside. Because then the word of mouth becomes, no, I caught a fish this big. Then it's this big. Then it's this big. It's just your reputation gets built up out of word of mouth, and it just explodes. And people build you up to more than what you actually are.
But it's interesting too how it like they go back to the origins of how some of these things started forming, and they talk about Anonymous, that group Anonymous,
yes,
who first started doing pranks and stuff, and how they kind of wrote the playbook on how to manipulate people into believing something when they were just doing it as a gag. But then that sort of became the basis of this gamer thing. They had this gamer controversy where
it's so weird, right? Wasn't that confusing?
It was a little confusing, but it was this idea of, it was like an experiment on how they can get people angry. So they started saying that gaming was for that, like women were taking over gaming, or they were trying to, I don't know, make.
It was like a sexist thing. I don't know.
Yeah, they were trying to like make more games for women, and so they started like saying this, and all like the nerdy like 28-year-old, 35-year-olds were getting upset because the industry was like leaving them behind because they were
life left you behind.
So there was a whole thing with that, and that like people saw how people reacted to that. Then this guy wrote this book called Q, and that was
the same guy or
no, this author, and it's I guess not a famous book. It's kind of becoming famous now, but it wasn't about any of this. He just wrote, I forget what the book was about, but it was about making up stories. It was a novel. Like the guy just wrote a story about making up stories, and there's people who go around and whatever. And so they took little things out of that book too. And like, you just see this like evolution of how it all came about and how this guy Q started posting. By the way, it's called QAnon because anybody who posts on these boards are called Anons. They're anonymous.
Yeah. And Q supposedly refers to Q clearance.
Well,
like when you're in the government.
Yes. If you have government, you have a Q. Yeah. But he started just signing his things Q. And so that's how he became QAnon. And there are so many like interesting little like thriller things of trying to figure out who could QAnon possibly be, which is why he started making this documentary in the first place. It was kind of like he thought it would be about trying to figure out who QAnon was, but it also simultaneously became about why was this movement so impactful?
Yeah.
Like, how were they able to get millions of people to buy into it when they literally had no idea who was behind it?
Well, it's really big because obviously we don't follow it, but there's people who in the documentary you could see, like they're called QTubers. They actually have YouTube channels just on QAnon alone. That's it.
Yeah.
Which is like you said, it's a crazy thing that they don't know who the guy is, and they don't know, obviously there's no like facts to back things up, and they still believe and follow whatever he says or she.
Well,
I
and
thought they showed who it was.
No.
well, we'll get into that for sure. But
Sort of.
right around this same thing, like they don't know who it is. What was the last thing you just said, Janine? Now I lost it. You were just saying
they don't know who it is, and all the things that he says, like they don't follow,
right.
You know?
But the QTubers, you brought up the QTubers.
Yes.
So what I also found super interesting was Q, this guy Q, he would write things that were just like little questions, like, stay the course, or,
right.
That is not a question.
Is this for real? Or like he would just write, like, it would be just little lines. Like it would sometimes be a question, sometimes be a declarative statement. But it got so, like, it was so, nobody kind of knew what the hell he was talking about, that a lot of the people, they said in the documentary, a lot of the people didn't even read his posts. They would go to websites that would translate his posts.
Oh,
exactly. So that's how it's like the game telephone. It just, things get, blown up and blown up and blown up. And by the time you get to the last message, this guy who said, "What is this about?" It becomes, this is about, oh my God, the conspiracy and this and that. It becomes this huge thing that it gets blown out of proportion because it went through so many ears, so many eyes.
Right.
That it just, that's how it explodes. It's like anything, like, what's it called? Thin Man, what's it called? The Thin Man, or what's that guy called?
Slender Man.
Slender Man. That was an internet stupid thing that blew out of proportion and became serious. Right, and it became serious.
Did you ever see the documentary on that though?
No.
That's creepy.
Was Metallica in it? Because then he might have missed it.
It's creepy. I suggest you watch that, because that thing is. But it's just so crazy to me that this guy has this following, and I don't know.
Are you anti-documentary, Frank? It seems like you won't watch any documentaries.
No, I do. I love I just haven't seen the Slender Man or Q. I watch documentaries.
Did you watch Some Kind of Monster?
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's that?
That's the Metallica documentary.
Oh,
you watched it with me. We went to the theater to see that.
Sure. Yeah, that one we were at the premiere for.
Did he cut the bottom out of a popcorn?
He did.
Tub?
That was the first time
he put his penis through it.
That's the first time I ever touched Frank's penis. It was during that documentary.
I could definitely see Frank doing that.
Not the last.
I also there's a lot of interesting things. I also found it fascinating that QAnon over the course of time, I mean, we're going to hop around here, but he would predict things. He would just say something.
Yes.
And if it turned out to be false, people just wrote it off.
Right.
Of course.
Right. And then if it turned out to be true, they like held it as like gospel.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
One example they said was, though, he at one point he had like this 10-line thing and then just put in there 5347. And so people were like, what does this mean? And they spent like all day or weeks or whatever days trying to figure out what it was. Now, this is at the time of Kavanaugh's hearing, when he was going through the hearing to be approved. And so a lot of people, they just all like honed in on, oh, this is it. Like he's predicting the vote.
Yeah.
And then when the vote wasn't 53-47, they were like, oh, it must be something else.
Yeah, we'll just wait until it fits whatever we want.
And then a month later, what was it? The midterm elections or whatever it was?
Something like that. Yep. And that's what the number was.
What was it? It was the midterm elections? It was the midterm elections. Turned out to be 53 Republicans and 47 Democrats were elected or whatever. And then people were like, see, like he knew. And it was, you kind of looking at this going, well, I mean, shit. Anybody can spurt out a bunch of crap and eventually
make it fit whatever you want it to fit
into something else. Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
I was.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Yeah, so it's bullshit is my review.
And then they explain the hierarchy of how it happened. So Q would put something out, and then you'd have these people that would interpret it for their websites. And then you had the Q-tubers in there as well. And then you had the people that worked hard to like give it meaning and connect it to things. And after a while, Q started responding to them. So he would say A, they would connect it to B, and then he would come back and be like, yeah, C, it equals C. And this, so it became this thing of like, he wasn't always starting the information. Sometimes they were, and he would take it and then run with it.
Yeah.
And then they would see that and be like, oh my God, like, look, we were
Doesn't
right.
That prove that it's bullshit then? Because if you came up with something and gave it to me, and I'm like, well, now I'm going to recreate a thing, then it's not coming from me.
No, because they would take that as like, look, we got it right. Like we nailed it because he's confirming it now. What we all thought to be true, it's been confirmed.
Okay.
And if
Nobody ever asked, who is this guy and why should we believe anything he says?
Well, because then you would have these scenarios where, supposedly he had this clearance, and on a couple of occasions he would know something that turned out to be true.
Yep.
And
For
so
example?
Frank's going to go in this with not an open mind, so don't watch it.
I can't
Why would
remember.
you think that?
I can't remember what the
Because
true
you're making a
things
face that
were.
you're mad right now.
I'm not mad.
You're like this.
I just have a skeptical feeling about this QAnon bullshit and that whole organization. It's like, no offense to Scientology, but when I watch the Scientology documentary, I go in it with a preconceived notion about Scientology, and I go, well, let's see what it says. But I've already got an opinion.
Preconceived notion on the Q people. Well, keep that in mind because I do want to address that towards the end. But my wife is right. It's the kind of thing where you have to really pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or watch it twice. Like you got to kind of really.
Well, I'm not watching it twice, but go ahead.
There were a couple of times though where like I rewound it. Like I rewound 3 minutes just to go back and watch that again.
You're like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, just to kind of understand because you have all this Q stuff, and then on the other side of this, you have these websites that are hosting this stuff, and Q goes from getting kicked off of Reddit to going to this message board, but it's not just the message board, it's the actual like topic. So he chose this guy's, it wasn't like he like started his own message board. He went on to somebody else's board that was already started and following him and started posting his messages there.
So what does that mean?
So the guy who was running the message board kind of felt like the chosen one because he was like, Q chose my board and now he is speaking through my board.
You don't see that as ridiculous?
Well,
No.
I mean, as much as it's not like he has 10 followers, he has a lot of followers. So that's why it's like, okay.
Yeah. But like if I went onto someone's message, someone has a message board about Usher. I'm just looking at the screen. About Usher, and I go on and I go, yeah, Usher, and blah blah blah. Here's the story about Usher, and then they think, oh, this guy must know everything. I mean, what makes my information? I didn't even come up with the topic of this thing. Why would I even? I mean, someone else came up with the topic. I'm just talking about it because there's the topic. Why wouldn't he just create his own thing? And
He already had a message board going talking about what Q was saying. It would be like
no. Yeah,
would-
but
it
why
would-
wouldn't he just keep doing his own thing?
Frank, because it would be like if Metallica, instead of putting out a statement through their social media, went on your Facebook page and put a
Oh my
video
God.
out on your Facebook
Oh my
page,
God.
you would
Oh my
feel
God.
like this is awesome. Like he didn't need to
He's
choose
getting a
me.
boner just thinking about it.
Yeah, but they chose me. Like Metallica. By the way, and that would be a hell of a story if Metallica chooses Superfan to announce new album through.
Exactly.
Like that would
True.
be massive.
I'll give you that. That's true. No, I get it.
Right? So now this guy thinks he's like the greatest thing ever, and he's going around and Q's posting, and they're confirming things and blah blah blah. But then eventually he winds up. There was some issue with the anonymity and the trip code or some weird nerdy, tech thing. And so he leaves this guy's board and goes to 8chan, who has the capability to do everything that Q wants and has the anonymity and all that kind of stuff. And then he starts talking to this guy, Code Monkey, who's the board moderator, just like the other guy was, but he's the board moderator over here. And so he criticizes Code Monkey sometimes, and sometimes Code Monkey talks to him and whatever it was. But throughout this whole, so now they're talking to the guy who invented 8chan. They're talking to Code Monkey. They're talking to Code Monkey's dad, who owns the website, who bought it from the guy who started it. So creepy. How creepy was that dude? The
really
father?
Weird.
So weird.
Really, just so. Ugh.
And now they're trying to figure out, like, so they're looking at all this and they're like, well, who's Q? Like, he came to you guys and started posting, like, do you know who he is? And they're like, no, we don't know who he is, blah blah blah, this and that. I'm gonna start to spoil some things here, I think.
Yeah,
I have no choice, I have to.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So
Spoiler alert for everybody watching.
Yeah, spoiler alert for everybody watching. So now the kid who started it is this kid. He's in a wheelchair. He's had some sort of thing. I forget what it was, but he's
actually, he has the same thing that my history teacher had in high school. It's a condition where your bones are very frail. So if like you go like this, you'll break all the bones in your hand.
Like Mr. Glass from Glass. Seriously, that's kind of the same brittle bones disease.
That's the kid, Frederick Brennan. He's in a wheelchair, and he, you could tell it was hard for him to move around and all that stuff.
He's the one who started what?
He's the one who started 8chan.
Okay.
And then this guy, Jim Watkins, who's this guy right here, he buys 8chan from Frederick, and then his son, whose name is Ron, I think, he's Code Monkey. His son is Code Monkey.
Okay.
Right. So they're all in this together, and you start to put together these clues, and as it turns out, Jim likes to collect pens, and Q posts pens sometimes in his thing, like exotic weird collector's pens and shit like that. Frederick one day had a blue Q just show up at his door as like a thank you for starting 8chan. And then Q posted about like him giving the thing, over. And so you see this, but it turns out like an episode later, like the kid winds up admitting, oh, well, Jim gave that to me and told me to say that it was from Q.
Weirdos.
How quickly things unravel.
Then Ron is, he's, talking, and he's like, oh yeah. So they're doing like the interview style, and he's like, I don't know who Q is, and blah, blah, blah. And there's this one moment that's pretty intense. And so Cullen puts the camera down, but keeps recording. And then as soon as the camera down, he goes, it's Steve Bannon.
Yeah.
Steve Bannon.
And he goes, how do you know it's Steve Bannon? He goes, because I can see his IP address.
Yep.
And so then they go and they look at one day where Steve Bannon posts something by his house. And then a half hour later, Q posts something, a picture of some building. And they figured out that the Bannon house and the building are 22 minutes away from each other.
Yep.
Well, it would have to be in Washington. I mean, right?
No, this was in Los Angeles.
Oh, he's in Los Angeles. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now, like, you're like, holy shit, maybe it's Steve Bannon. But you're still kind of like, maybe it's these people that are holding these boards.
Yeah.
Isn't Steve Bannon not? I mean, he doesn't have any clearance anymore.
Well, he doesn't, but Q started after Steve Bannon left the Trump administration.
Mm-hmm.
So then, what the hell? I mean, what new things could he tell us?
So now, like, you're kind of like suspecting that. Then they go in on Flynn, on Michael Flynn, and they're like, Michael Flynn gave a speech about having a digital army. He loves, I forget what they call that. When they spread misinformation on the internet, that's called something.
Yeah.
Disinformation warfare or some, I don't know, whatever they call it. There was that whole thing. So like maybe it's Flynn because Flynn would have the security clearance to do it. And then they're going, well, maybe it's Roger Stone because Roger Stone was in the White House and he's all hooked up with it.
He was a nut job.
Then there's this other crusty old white guy who did like deals with the military or something. And he was like some of importance and he had information and he said one of the second Q posts was completely legitimate and a lot of the things in there turned out to be true. So it was like, this is totally for real and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. I mean, it's crazy. You get to a point where you're like, I don't know who the hell this person is because it could be one of these 7 nut jobs doing this. So I'm not going to say what happens at the last episode. I'll leave that for everybody because I know Janine hasn't watched it yet. But regardless of what happens in there, in my mind, it's all of them.
Ooh, you think they're all behind it? You really do?
I think they're all behind it because they looked at a bunch of things. And when Q was on the 4chan site and before he got onto the 8chan site, his writing style changed. And they analyzed it, and some, person who does this for a living was like, this is clearly 2 different writing styles. Like anybody could see that it was 2 different writing styles, but they were forensically able to confirm it or whatever, however they did it. So there was that. And then there were times where, like I said, it was legitimately 100% dead on accurate. Like he got some things right and things that only, if you had a decent amount of clearance, you would be able to know.
But not like future things, just things that are going to happen because you're part of the administration.
Some future things were correct.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what the big thing was. It was Epstein. The big thing was Epstein. This idea of the elite trafficking minors and eating children and all this garbage, but trafficking was a part of it. When Epstein got arrested, that was a massive boost for them because they thought, here it is. Like
this guy's right.
Yeah. But what was heartbreaking for them was none of the other stuff was ever really coming true. Right? Yeah. Like all throughout the documentary, they keep on pointing out like there's supposed to be these indictments and there's these sealed indictments and there's these tests. And when is the arrest coming? And when's Hillary going to get arrested? And when's this one going to get arrested? And it never, ever comes.
Yeah.
And so it kind of leaves them all kind of like holding the bag. And then when the election happened, here's what's interesting too. So the election happens and Trump loses and their focus suddenly shifts from all these things that Q was saying to the election was stolen.
Oh, yeah.
Like suddenly none of the other stuff mattered anymore.
Matters, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was just the election was stolen. And
so whoever this person is obviously a fierce Trump supporter. Doesn't matter what they're in for.
They don't never really say that, right?
They don't ever
say
really
it or not.
Say that. But here's what's weird. So they expected Trump to acknowledge them at some point. And the first time he's asked about it publicly, he doesn't. He's like, I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is. He's like, I guess they like me. I don't know. He said, I guess they like me. So I like that because other than that, I don't know who they are. And the second time he's asked about it, he goes, well, they're against pedophilia. So that's a good thing. And that ignited them all. And it's so true because when you get down to the heart of it, like the heart of Q is not wrong. it's
Right.
not bad. Like, they're against pedophilia. They're against.
That's a good thing to be against.
It's a good thing to be against. Like, they're
Right.
they're against like people controlling the nation that weren't elected. Like, okay,
Sure.
of course. Like, there are some no-brainer things in there that, like, the intentions are good, which is an interesting layer, a foundation to build everything else.
Right,
off of.
but when you start spreading conspiracy theories and getting people riled up over rumors and bullshit, then that's where you got a problem.
Well, there was a couple of moments in there. So, like, at one point, Q posts instructing Trump, if you're hearing this, misspell a word that has the letter Q in it. And like a day later, he misspells acquisition or whatever he misspelled.
Yeah,
he does
exactly.
it.
I could have told you that was going to happen.
I mean, is it a coincidence or not? But it's funny. You say, is it coincidence or not? But one of the first things that Q ever says, which becomes like a part of their thing, is there are no coincidences.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he says.
Or are there? Just because he says there are no coincidences,
But Frank,
doesn't mean there are no coincidences.
when you're drinking the Kool-Aid and you're like, oh, he said there's no coincidences, and then
God.
something happens.
Yeah, once you're locked in, yeah.
There's no coincidences.
Once you're signed in, it's over.
Yeah.
Once you're devoted to it and you're like, well, this has got to be the truth, then you'll justify anything that's said.
But going back to what Frank has been fishing for this entire time.
I
What
know.
am I fishing? What am I fishing for?
What I found interesting was,
Because I don't even know what I'm fishing for.
no, you're like, how could people be so stupid? How could people blindly follow this thing?
I'm not saying people are stupid. I'm saying gullible.
But that's what I find interesting, is that if it wasn't this, it would have been something else.
Right.
Or nothing.
No.
It doesn't have to be this.
When you look at the people and how they reacted to all this stuff, again, there would be moments where it's like, this guy is crazy and this means nothing and he's getting a lot of stuff wrong and he doesn't have this clearance. But they're still like, no, like, you'll see, eventually it'll happen. It's like when I watch Democrats and Republicans argue and they both think they're so right. You're just looking at these people and you're going, they can't even see themselves. They can't even see what's really happening. And that's what all these people are doing. And you look at it and you go, if it wasn't Q, it would have been some other crazy BS. Right, Janine? Am I wrong?
Yeah, because you could see the type of people that are so into this. And
okay.
I mean, but there are conspiracy theories everywhere. And
but
people get sucked into all these things.
But this was more than a conspiracy theory. This was a movement, This was a movement.
Yeah, but doesn't mean that. I feel like if this movement didn't happen, it doesn't mean a different one would have taken its place. It should mean the people would have been going with their conspiracy theories. Doesn't mean that would have been a huge.
I don't know.
Do you know who every presidency has that?
Do you know who I felt? By the way, you can watch the last episode. It's so worth it. You know who I felt the worst for? They were one of the first people shown. It was that Florida couple.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you feel bad for them?
Yeah, I did.
This couple, Frank, they were like, they say it in the thing. They're like, we were Democrats. Like, we voted all these years and nothing ever happened for us. And they even said, like, they thought Obama was a good president.
Yeah, they did.
And they were like, and then
they voted for him, they said.
They voted for him and whatever. And, and they were like staunch followers of Q. So much so that they were like at like the local grocery store, like handing out pamphlets and shit. Like, did you guys hear about Q? Like a cult, like a crazy cult.
Yeah.
Nobody was asking them to do it. They were just they found this thing that they fell in love with, and they went all in. And I've never seen anything like it. And I'll tell you what made me really feel worse. They fall off. You don't see them at the end. You kind of see them midway through.
You don't see them at the end.
Don't see them at the end. So I don't know whatever happened to them, but you just feel so awful because they believed in this thing so much.
There are people out there just looking to be a part of something that they can relate to. And when they find something that, that they're accepted in, they just join it. And it's it's like anything. If you become part of, it's like a cult. You get sucked in because you're accepted in there.
But and I feel like they were maybe a little bit more gullible than the average bear. Those two.
Yeah.
I still felt bad for them, but I still felt like they represented a lot of people who, for
Yeah.
years and years and years, voted not just Democrat, but just voted and thought that the world was going to change this time around for them, and it never does. And I feel like that's why you get a Q movement. That's why you get a Trump or a Bernie. You know, I've talked about this a bunch. They're the same people to me. They're, you know, they're not the typical politician who is running
Right,
as an
exactly.
outsider, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
That's why you start to see the AOC, right? Marjorie Green there. You start to see these people emerge. It's because all these people are so disenfranchised with kind of the status quo. It was really, the whole thing was really, really great. It really, really was.
I hear you.
Probably could have been 5 episodes instead of 6, but whatever.
They drag out a little bit.
Janine, you got anything else to add on top of that on this one?
No, I can't wait to see the last 2.
Yeah, the last one is good. And it gets into the Capitol and what happens that day.
I'm curious to see that one too.
That's Frank, and I'll tell you what, you would probably love this because a lot of like the guy with the bear horns and everything like that, the stuff that all those pictures and footage that emerged of him at other meetings came from Cullen.
Yeah,
it came from this documentary. So you see this guy before he the world was introduced to him as the guy who is on the Capitol, but you actually see him weeks and months earlier in this documentary, kind of by accident almost.
Yeah, that's funny, right?
Yeah, because nobody paid attention to him until he was the nut job in the horns.
It's super. I think you and your wife would actually love it. So, and by the way, I think anybody, even if you're not political, this is one of the bigger movements of our time.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know,
The
only thing I would find more interesting is if Q actually went out and bought $1 million house in Beverly Hills. Then I would be criticizing him too.
Boom.
Shameless, J-Sabs. You watched over the weekend. You refused to be on camera watching, but you did contribute this teary-eyed photograph.
That is a cried out face.
Yeah.
That is, what is that, the 3rd picture I sent? Because I was taking them as I was going.
I don't know.
The reason I didn't record myself,
you hate the listeners.
Well, a few people said it was very dull, and up until the end, it was very dull. And I was like, people are not going to want to watch me just sit there and not have any you know what I mean? Like just boring. But the last 13 minutes or so, oh my God. But I'll tell you, no, I watched it again today and cried again, and cried telling Gaetano something I read over dinner, and he's like, you know, this is not real, right?
That was a great guy impression, by the way.
I'm like, this is real. To me, it's real, but
it's real to me, man. Remember that wrestling guy freaked out a couple years ago?
That's really creepy, that picture.
Yeah, it is. That's why I'm leaving it up.
There's a lot of different. Okay, so first of all, they were supposed to have a Q&A with the cast after the episode.
Wait, QAnon was in this too? That's surprising.
No, Q&A.
Oh.
On this website dedicated to it, and guess what? It crashed.
Oh.
So what they had to do, they just had to stream it from Vimeo, and but it wasn't up until 10:20, and it was supposed to start at 10 o'clock. So people were pissed off about that. What I didn't like was that Showtime, they will release the episodes at 12 o'clock midnight, so that day. So people.
So by the time you get around to watching it,
a lot of people watch it. A lot of people don't know about it, but a lot of people watched it and started, commenting and spoilers.
So that's how you. So you're saying the show premieres at 9 o'clock that night, but at noon that day, it's already on the app.
Midnight. Yep.
Wow.
That's bull. I hate
12:01.
Wait. 12 in the afternoon before it airs, or 12 at midnight? Oh, you mean midnight the day before?
Yes. Yep.
Oh,
yeah,
so that's
Sunday 12 o'clock in the 12 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning.
Right. Okay. Wow. All right.
So I didn't think that they would do that for this episode, because obviously it's a series finale, but guess what? They did, which was like, and people were complaining about that too. Like, you gotta just, air it. It's a series finale. Air it at 9 p.m. Like, how it's been. But I didn't really read spoilers. A friend of mine watched the show and just told me.
I would have been. By the way, I would have punched that friend in the face if I went 11 goddamn years.
They didn't tell me. They didn't tell me what happened. They just
I
told
don't
me.
care. That drives me crazy. Oh, it was boring. By the way, I would have lost my shit over that.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
That's some
no.
bullshit. 11 years.
So,
and you get it's an hour. Just give me the hour.
Just
and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll
almost there.
afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
so
I know you saw it. You don't got to prove it. You saw it.
Name the person who ruined this. They deserve to be outed.
So so of course okay. So a lot of people did not like the ending at all. Like, a lot of people didn't. Personally, I did like it. I will say that. There was, loose ends, which people thought that was going to happen. But for me, how it ended was good enough. One part I did not like at all, and that's why I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried.
Oh, you didn't like it because it's not like you didn't like it because it was not part of the story. It was a bad part of the story. It was just a negative thing that happened.
Yes, like.
Okay.
Do you want to do a full a spoiler review right now? I'll take my ear out.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, go.
All right, you wave me back in when you're ready. This is total spoilers. Give you a second to pause it or fast forward it or whatever. This is all Janine.
What do you want me to do?
You give the full review and then you wave us back. You give me the wave back when we're ready to come back on.
You got to tell me when you're leaving because I can only see my crying face.
Oh, you can't see me?
What?
No. We're leaving now.
Okay. All right, so here is my review. I was very upset. Obviously, who's watched this, that Frank passes on, which to me, I did not want him to. He's the most loved, hated guy on TV. And just the way he passed away was not, out of everything, he passed away alone, which to me is so sad. And another thing that they did was they gave him COVID, which is not no. So the night before, as you see, he tried to overdose and he woke up and he was fine and he was walking around, again with the dementia, but he was really looking for Fiona. And then he was somehow taken to the hospital and just by himself and died by himself, which to me is so sad. I just wish that they would have had the cast come and like his kids come and just like talk about him if he was going to die. Personally, I would have made him come clean and be fine, but obviously not everything could be happy like that. So, yeah, I mean, to me, that was the only part. A lot of people didn't like that. They didn't really talk much about the other kids, like, an end game for them, which to me, that was okay. But Frank's, to me, was just the saddest thing. So that's it. Okay, guys, I'm ready.
And we're back.
And I didn't cry. I was surprised. I was like, oh my God, am I going to cry? I feel a little bit.
So you were pretty blown away by the second to last episode. Was that one better than the finale, or was the finale better than that one?
Ooh, that's a good question. That was really good, but the finale I think was the best for me.
That was the best one. Okay.
All right. Did you give it an overall grade?
I didn't give it an overall grade. I can if you want me to.
Yeah, I would love it.
I would say 7.9 out of 10.
Okay, that's pretty high. Where does it fare? Where does it fare with Sopranos and Bad and all the other ones you've always loved?
My favorite one is 6 Feet Under, and
6 Feet Under.
Yeah, it's just below 6 Feet Under.
So number 2.
Second place.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I just a lot of there's a lot of articles that I probably read at least 10, 15 articles today about the ending of Shameless.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, a lot of people were not happy, but
Well, a lot of people said that about The Sopranos too, and I still think
yeah,
that
it's
was a
true.
great ending.
I mean, right. And so when I read it, I was like, oh wait, I actually do like the ending. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, just one part. That's it.
But I love how a show like I had this with Succession on HBO. I watched the first two seasons. My wife and we ran through the first two seasons, and I found myself then like just like with this. There's got to be a name for it. Like, his Hangover is not a great name, but like you finish the series and then like you watch like the featurette on it, and then you watch the interview on it, and then
You're
you
addicted to it.
and then all of a sudden like
oh yeah, I'm addicted to it.
and this is why podcasts are blowing up to a degree too, because I was like, there's a Succession podcast where they just talk to each cast member. I ran through like 6 of those, and I'm just like, I can't get enough of
Oh
this
yeah,
show.
I watched the Q&A last night too, and I watched some of it today because I missed like the first 20 minutes. But I don't know. It just seemed like here's the thing with like TV series that run so long versus like a movie, it's just a different feeling. Like as a cast, you could just tell. Like I've watched interviews with movies and TV series, and this seems to be like one of the tightest casts, I'd say.
Yeah.
They've been together 10 years. I mean, like two of the kids that started on it when they were 9 years old, and now they're 19, 20 years old. It's
Big chunk of
actually
it.
no,
Half their
21.
life.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you watch them too as they grow up too. I guess maybe that's why it's like a little harder for me too, because I'm like, this is probably like the first one that I really watched, and I was very into it. You've never seen it, right?
No, I've never seen it.
You have. I think you have to watch it because it's just really good.
Well, usually I never took your recommendations because they were mostly shit, but you were right about the QAnon thing, so
Boom.
I might have to watch this one too.
And William H. Macy. Oh my God, he is such a good guy. He really is.
He's
like I want to be friends with him.
I can't. His performance in Boogie Nights, I still can't get over how good he was in that.
Well, then you
He's a
would
great actor.
love. He's a good, and you know what? He's a genuinely nice person. Like he really is. All the cast last night just talked about like what a nice, true, genuine guy he is. Like they didn't have to say that, and it's not the first time I've heard that about him either. But he's just so, I don't know. And then he's humble too, and he wrote a letter to like the fans today. Oh my God! Of course I cried. Of course. I was like, oh God, can we just be friends? Can I just like hang out with you and Felicity for like one day?
You and Felicity. That's
Okay.
funny.
And
Never
then
saw
I
an episode of that either.
Oh, I did. Then I found out that his daughter actually played in this series finale, like one scene, and I didn't know that. And then of course I cried again. I'm like, what is wrong with me?
Because you can't get enough. I can't
Get enough. Yeah, right.
After the Snyder Cut came out, I literally watched every single Zack Snyder interview. I watched every.
Really?
There's no
That's
more
what I'm
interviews
doing.
to watch. Some of them were so good. Some of them were just absolute. I've heard all the information already. I still watched the entire thing. I couldn't get enough.
I was so
Yeah.
relieved
Yeah,
to
that's
be
me.
done with the movie. I was like, I gotta go to bed now. I can't.
You're like, enough of this. It's just, actually, I read some really good interviews today with the producer of the show, and he was like talking about like alternate endings and stuff. And what I found interesting was he had to rewrite the season because of COVID.
Because of the impact it would have on the characters' world, or because of them just filming?
Both.
Okay.
But it just, I don't know. He's a good guy too. I mean, he wrote West Wing and ER. So he's used to long series too. But
Wait, this isn't
it's good
Sorkin.
too. No, it's John Wells.
Okay. Because I was saying Sorkin created West Wing. I guess maybe he wrote a couple
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Of
Are
course
you gonna
now
watch it
I
when
like.
we're done here?
Oh yeah, of course I am. I'm like, good time. You want to go play a game? Okay, I'll stay
I
upstairs.
don't know if you were
and
paying attention,
rewatch the
Frank,
series.
but during the BLM segment, she wasn't. I thought she was watching it during that.
Yeah.
She
Well,
could've
now
been.
I want to rewatch the series again. I do.
The whole series.
It's a good. I'm telling you, it's good.
Hey,
Are you crying?
Love it.
Maybe.
You felt. I thought you were getting a little choked up there for a second.
Chubbed up or choked up?
Well, either way.
Both.
Either way is a good Saturday night for you, Janine, right?
Right.
Nice.
All right.
Oh.
All right. So silver medal for Shameless, 7.9 on the 10 scale.
It's not bad.
That's not bad at all. And Frank, what would you give Snyder Cut?
Oh, excuse me.
On a 1 to 10, 8.2.
Can I change mine to 8.5?
Solid B minus.
Oh man, that was an A. Come on.
No, there are A's, and then you can't give everything an A.
The dream sequence at the end. What did you think about the dream sequence at the end? You didn't love that?
I don't even remember the dream sequence at the end.
When they're kind of like in the desert.
Did I not see that? Was it after the credits?
No, it was just
I
like
don't remember a dream sequence at the end.
when they're walking around. It's like a desert. Everything is windy and sandy.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes, that was cool. I liked that. I enjoyed that.
I have to see.
But for me, it was the one actor who was in that scene. One of the actors who's in that scene. It just kind of hammed it up a little, and I wasn't buying it.
Who?
I think you know who I'm talking about.
Leto.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but it was still good.
I like the idea of it. I liked, but his dumb laugh kind of took me right out of it.
I wasn't. All right, we could talk about this for hours.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else?
Just that.
What, in general?
Mm-hmm.
In general.
I got my shot 1 of the vaccine.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah,
Now,
yesterday.
how do you feel being tracked now? And I want to know, did you get it
Same
today?
as I was yesterday.
No reaction to it?
Nope. First shot. All
That's
it was a little sore in the spot where they got,
Wait, did you say reaction or erection? I couldn't hear you. Kind of blipped out there. For a
I got
second.
both. That was the reaction.
That would have been hysterical if you said to the person giving you the shot, "Am I supposed to be this hard right now?" That would be.
Well, that's where they give you the shot.
Oh my God, if I had a penis, I would totally say that.
That would be even funnier if Janine said it, actually.
Tell you.
If you do get the thing, you have to film yourself going, "Am I supposed to be this hard right now?" That would be so funny to me.
I'm sure they'll be fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They couldn't have been nicer, I have to say. Everybody was super nice, super professional, and right this way. Everything's everybody was very helpful, and
Did they give hand jobs too?
Oh.
Not that I saw, but
Oh, my friend got one.
Oh yeah, oh good.
Yeah.
By the way, I've been trying to figure out
friend,
where.
I mean father.
I've been trying to figure out where to get my shot. So, Janine, if you could text me where your friend got his, that'd be great.
That's a
I
good
said it
place.
was my father.
Oh. But no, it was a great, we were in and out in half an hour because we both got
That's
it.
what she said.
My wife and I. Right.
Did she get any reaction to it?
No, same, just soreness in the arm a little bit in the muscle. They go right in your muscle, so right in the shoulder.
Yep.
But yeah, no.
I know I got a tattoo on my eye last week.
There you go.
This probably hurt 10 times worse, but
I'm sure it did.
I'm starting to flake. I'm starting to flake.
Gross.
I want to just give a quick shout out to my Uncle Jamie. He actually went ahead and purchased a shirt out of the merch store, which is very kind.
Hey, Uncle Jamie.
Very, very kind. I
Which
like
one?
how
Which one?
Janine is like, I hope he purchased one of my shirts.
I really hope he did.
Actually, this is technically yours. I think you inspired this shirt. But this is for the Q people out there, because now that Frank's being controlled by Bill Gates,
oh yeah,
this is even more weird.
I'm tired of doing my own stuff. Let someone else control me. That's fine.
I don't know if it's gonna show up the right way because everything is reversed. So it might show up the proper way, but he bought the Not Now shirt.
Oh.
But when you reverse it, and I don't know if it's
Wonton.
gonna. Yeah.
Yeah.
Secret message.
Yeah. He's in QAnon. Thanks.
Yeah.
You never knew that Wonton and Not Now are whatever that's called.
No, I didn't
Backwards
know
and
we were
forwards.
selling secret cryptic shirts.
Well, talk to Janine. She came up with it.
Did
Right?
she?
Where did that come from? Not Now.
Did she? Or did Wonton come up with it?
Right.
Dun dun dun. Well, thank you, Uncle Jamie.
Thank you,
You
Uncle
rock.
Jamie.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle Jamie. Appreciate that. Uncle Robert also
amazing.
purchased a shirt too, so
Which one? Same one or?
he gets some credit. No, he got he bought a Show Me Potato Salad shirt, which happens to be my
Nice,
favorite.
Uncle Robert.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Shout out.
And then bought the shirt and then proceeded to ask me what it meant, which I
Thanks.
loved. I just loved that. By the
You're
way,
like, you don't know what it means? So
now that I
thanks.
think about it, Show Me Potato Salad is kind of like our own little Q message.
Doesn't really mean anything. I mean,
I
know where it originated from, but
Yeah.
I won't reveal.
It's unfortunate that Q stopped dropping messages because I'd loved to snuck a Show Me Potato Salad in there. That would have been really good for the podcast.
Oh,
Imagine
that would
he
have
said that.
been like a huge story. It would have predicted something.
I'm actually going to tweet that right now.
Go for it.
I'm going to tweet Show Me Potato Salad. I'm going to sign it Q.
Go for it, man.
I wish I had a burner account.
Hey, this is probably a secret message too. Tabasco, but it's backwards. Oxabat.
I suck cock. Oh,
Ocean.
Oh,
That's not what it
dear
says.
Lord.
That's not good. That's not
My
what it
goodness.
says. It's good
On
if that's
that
what
note.
you like. Yeah, on that note,
All right.
bye, Aunt.
Anthony's busy tweeting. We
Tweeting
can say
like-
anything right now. He's not really listening to us. This is one of those moments.
No, Q is telling him what to. Look, I'm shutting off my light.
Oh,
All right. Appreciate you
so much
guys.
better.
By the way, be as cool as Uncle Jamie and Uncle Robert, for the love
Yes.
of God. Go to
Like, if you
shopanthonyair.com.
like me, yeah, buy one.
Yeah. By the way, Janine, how great do you feel that it was one of your shirts? You feel like the
mean-
winner right now.
I do. I have a little boner.
This is picking you up from the Shameless depression.
It is a little bit.
Yeah, that's nice.
that's sweet.
Nah, not
That's
really.
nice. So shopanthonyair.com to get the shirts. Link in the description below to buy some Hero Soap from our pals over at Hero Soap Company. Appreciate you guys watching and or listening so much. Let's drop a bomb right now.
What
The
bomb?
420 show has been solidified, meaning you tune in here live on 420 and we are going to do an actual 420 show. And you may be thinking to yourself, why is it solidified? Well, because we got the supplies we needed to do the show. So tune in 420. We'll have more details for you, but a little bit of a exclusive towards the end of this program. 420 show is happening for sure on 420. So stay tuned for that.
Correct.